Ram. 4 stories today, 4 different centuries, 4 different continents, and in every single one, someone crosses a line they think they can walk away from, and finds out within the year that they were wrong. The year is 60 AD. King Prasutagus of the Iceni, a tribe in eastern Britain, dies and leaves half his kingdom to Emperor Nero, and half to his 2 daughters, hoping the gesture keeps his family's land intact under Roman rule. Rome ignores the will completely. Roman officials seize the whole kingdom, flog Prasutagus' widow Boudicca in public with rods, and let soldiers rape both daughters. At the same time, Roman moneylenders across the province call in loans handed out years earlier, among them the philosopher Seneca, one of the largest creditors in Britain. Tribes that had lived under Rome for over a decade suddenly have nothing left to protect. Boudicca raises an army from the Iceni and the neighboring Trinovantes. Tacitus and Cassius Dio give wildly different numbers, but even the conservative estimates put it above 100,000 people. A relief force sent from Legio IX Hispana under Quintus Petilius Cerealis gets ambushed on the march and loses most of its infantry before it even reaches the fighting. Boudicca marches first on Camalodunum, today's Colchester, the former capital of Roman Britain, built on farmland taken from locals to reward retired legionaries. The city has no walls. Its temple to the deified Claudius, packed with people trusting stone columns to hold, burns last. Archaeologists still dig through a layer of scorched red clay under modern Colchester, dated to that exact year. London is next, though in 60 AD it's a trading settlement with no garrison worth mentioning. Boudicca's forces burn it to nothing. Verulamium, now St. Albans, follows the same path. Roman writers later claim close to 70,000 Romans and Romanized Britons die across the 3 cities combined. Governor Gaius Suetonius Paulinus is fighting Druids on Anglesey when the revolt starts, and he has to force march his legions the length of the country while an entire province burns behind him. Paulinus finally picks his ground, a narrow valley backed by forest, so the much larger British force can't flank his roughly 10,000 men. Boudicca's warriors bring their families along in wagons to watch what they expect to be a rout. When the Roman line holds and pushes forward instead, the British ranks break and run straight into that wall of parked wagons. Tacitus puts British losses near 80,000 in a single afternoon, against fewer than 400 Roman dead. Boudicca dies not long after, by poison according to Tacitus, by illness according to Cassius Dio. 3 burned cities and tens of thousands dead never bought her family back their throne. Vlad grows up as an Ottoman hostage through the 1440s, handed over by his own father, Vlad II Dracula, as a guarantee of loyalty. In 1447, Hungarian-backed boyars kill his father, and local chronicles claim they blind his older brother Mircea with hot iron stakes before burying him alive in Targovishta. Vlad takes the Wallachian throne years later, still owing the Ottomans annual tribute. He stops paying it. In 1459, an Ottoman envoy visits his court and refuses, citing custom, to remove his turban in the prince's presence. Vlad has the turban nailed straight to the man's skull. When Sultan Mehmed II, the same man who had taken Constantinople 6 years earlier, marches into Wallachia in 1462, chroniclers put his army somewhere between 90,000 and 150,000 men. Vlad has nowhere near that number, so he poisons wells, burns his own villages, and empties the countryside ahead of the advance. On the night of June 17, 1462, Vlad leads around 10,000 men directly into the Ottoman camp, aiming for the Sultan's own tent. The raid fails to kill Mehmed, but it kills enormous numbers on both sides and wrecks Ottoman morale for the rest of the campaign. Days later, outside Targovishta, the advancing Ottoman army finds close to 20,000 bodies staked on wooden poles along the road, prisoners and local dead arranged in rings, with the highest-ranking victims left on the tallest stakes, as a marker of status even in death. Mehmed reportedly turns his army back, rather than march it through the field. Vlad loses the larger war within the year, and his own brother Radu takes the Wallachian throne with Ottoman backing. The forest outside Targovishta is still the image that outlived both of them. This one comes from Tang Dynasty China, around 655 AD. Wu Zetian starts as a low-ranking concubine, competing against Empress Wang and consort Shao, for Emperor Gaozong's attention. According to the Ziji Tongjian, a court history compiled centuries later by the scholar Sima Guang, Wu's infant daughter dies suddenly in her crib, and Wu accuses Empress Wang of the killing. Modern historians argue over how much of that account is real, and how much got added later to justify what Wu became. But Gaozong believes it at the time. Gaozong deposes both Wang and Shao, and has them imprisoned in a remote palace building. Wu takes the empty position of empress. The chronicle claims Wu later visits the two women in their cell, where they beg for release. Wu orders their hands and feet cut off, then has both women dropped into large wine vats, reportedly telling them she wants these two witches drunk down to their bones. Both die within days. Wu also strips both families of their original surnames, reassigning them characters meaning viper and python. Wu Zetian doesn't stop at empress. Over the following decades, she purges rival Tang princes and officials one by one, and in 690, she declares herself emperor outright, founding a new dynasty she names Zhou, ruling China for 15 years, as the only woman in Chinese history to hold the title in her own name, rather than as a regent. Whatever happened inside that cell in 655, it cleared every rival standing between a concubine and the throne. Romb, September 5, 1972, Munich. 8 members of the Palestinian militant group Black September take 11 Israeli athletes and coaches hostage inside the Olympic Village. A rescue attempt by German police at the military airfield at Fürstenfeldbruck collapses into a firefight, and by the next morning, all 11 hostages are dead, along with 5 of the 8 gunmen and 1 German police officer. Prime Minister Golda Meir authorizes Mossad to track down and kill everyone connected to planning the attack, regardless of which country they're hiding in. The campaign runs for most of a decade and covers more than a dozen names across Europe and the Middle East. Wiles Whiter, a translator in Rome with alleged Black September ties, is shot 13 times outside his apartment door that October. Mahmoud Hamshari dies in Paris 2 months later when a bomb hidden inside his telephone detonates the moment he answers a call confirming his own identity. Hussein al-Bashir dies in a bombed hotel room in Athens. Kamal Adwan and 2 other Black September figures are killed in a 1973 raid on their Beirut apartments, a joint operation that reportedly included a young Ehud Barak, disguised as a woman to get the team through the checkpoint. Not every job goes clean. In July 1973, a Mossad team in Lillehammer, Norway, kills a man they've identified as Ali Hassan Salameh, the operation's alleged mastermind. The target is a mistake. The team has killed Ahmed Boudicca, a Moroccan waiter with no connection to Munich at all. Norwegian police arrest 6 agents on the spot, turning the error into a lasting diplomatic embarrassment for Israel. Salameh himself survives another 6 years before a car bomb kills him in Beirut in January 1979, closing out a manhunt that ran longer than the careers of most people who started it. 4 stories, 4 continents, 4 centuries apart, and the same pattern underneath every one. A queen loses her daughter's safety and burns 3 cities down. A hostage prince loses his father and brother and plants a forest of stakes. A concubine loses a rival's favor and empties a wine vat. A country loses 11 of its athletes and spends a decade finding every name on a list. Each time, the people crossing that first line seem certain nobody will come looking. Each time, somebody does.
Thanks for watching the video. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on even more stories.